ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं कुलसुन्दरी देव्यै नमः.
Namaste everyone. Today we are going to talk about Navami Tithi or 9th lunar day in Vedic astrology. And in Vedic astrology, 9th lunar day is governed by planet Sun, guna of Tamas, and element water. It's also presided by goddess Kulasundari. And you might have seen on the intro to this video that goddess Kulasundari is the very first really powerful form of the Divine Mother. So she has lots of heads now, she has many hands as well. She's very powerful with her presence and she's carrying, many different artifacts in her hands. And why is that so? You might remember that on Ashtami Tithi, the goddess in the form of the moon, she's on the halfway, So she's in Shukla Paksha, she's on halfway from new moon to full moon, so from union with the divine to her own fullness, realizing her own potential, while in Krishna Paksha, she's on halfway from returning back to the divine, from uniting again with Shiva. So you can imagine, that once she actually crossed this halfway, she's now much more excited, she's now much more confident. Again, the very same, desire which awakened in her on Pratipat Tithi awakens again. So again, these sun-like qualities awaken in her. Which is why, again, Pratipat Tithi and Navami Tithi are presided by the very same planet, Sun. And this is also why, from Navami Tithi, a new cycle starts. So from Pratipat to Ashtami, from 1st lunar day until 8th lunar day, we are going, through the cycle of all 8 planets, except Ketu, because Ketu is not presiding over any of the lunar days. And now, from Navami, from the 9th lunar day, the new cycle is starting. So again, new excitement is awakening within the goddess, but also slightly different quality. Kulasundari literally means the most beautiful one in her lineage, or the most beautiful one in her family. Which is why, for people born on Navami Tithi, their lineage is usually very important for them. They actually value their lineage a lot. And sometimes they might have either, some very strong or profound connection with some of the members of their family or with their family in general, but sometimes it may also manifest slightly differently. So they might also have like a very deep connection with their gurus, their teachers. That's also the lineage. So they really just value, this quality of a lineage. Like literally goddess Kulasundari, she's the goddess of initiation, right? She's also connected with Kundalini Shakti and awakening of it. So also a couple of things which you might notice with Navami Tithi natives, that sometimes they may actually carry, some heavy family karma too. This may happen also. But either way, always lineage and home and family is a very important value for them. You can even imagine it, Ram himself, he was born on Navami Tithi, and if you read his life story, you can really see many of these Navami qualities present in his own life and in his own personality. He really valued also his homeland, also valuing homemade things. Sometimes even these people actually either do the work based in their own home, or they are doing some homemade things too. And because Navami Tithi also reflects the qualities of the 9th house in the Vedic astrology, these people also love to learn, and they are really good in learning. Not only in learning, also in teaching others. So they can sometimes be teachers or professors, or even people who are simply, like experts in whatever they are doing. This can definitely happen. But also interesting thing is that in Tantric tradition, goddess Kulasundari is actually said to be also the form of Saraswati, goddess of learning. So these are definitely the people for whom learning and education is very important. They really love to learn, and it's also very important for them in life. Navami natives are also very innovative people, and they have very innovative approach to many things in life. So innovation, or just doing things differently, than anybody else. Because remember, this Tithi is also presided by the Sun, and Sun loves, his own individuality, shining your own unique light. So also, this feeling that I am different than anybody else and I am not just mixing into the crowd is very important for those natives. And because Navami Titi is also governed by element of water, this is one more Rikta Titi. And as you might remember when we are doing the video on Chaturthi Titi, the fourth lunar day, Rikta Titis are very, very introverted. And these are also very introverted people. In fact, sometimes you may even see people who can have some sort of social phobias even, they just don't like to be in the setting with loads of people. They really just like to be with themselves, and this is how they also recharge their energy, They don't recharge their energy by being with others, they recharge their energy by just being alone. So whenever you're dealing with Navami Titi native, you might like to make sure that you don't talk them to death, because it's really hard for them and they actually waste lots of their personal energy on being too much with people. So please respect their time, respect their borders, because these people really, really need that. Navami natives are also very confident. Like we said, this form of the Divine Mother is also very confident, very powerful. And they have loads and loads of inner power and lots of endurance also, which sometimes they don't even realize. But once they are faced with some sort of difficult situation, this is when they really realize their own inner power and how much they are ready to endure sometimes. So these people are also very, very confident, and whenever whenever they truly believe in something, they really go 100% into that. So that's one very important quality about them. However, again, because this Titi kind of reflects the qualities of the ninth house, they can be a little bit stubborn sometimes too. Navami natives also love, this sort of feeling of power, feeling of control, And these are the people who actually really like to have things under control. They like to have things well planned, and they can get a little bit stressed even if things are, slightly different. This is why that's actually quite a fascinating thing, but you can see many people who are actually into astrology. They might not be astrologers themselves, but they are just fascinated with astrology. And why, again, why even people get interested in astrology? Sometimes because of curiosity, sometimes because of the spirituality, but most often why we even are so interested in predictions, because we want to have our life under control. We want to have some influence on the things which are happening around us. So sometimes, for these people, it can even grow very much, this quality, so they might be a little bit of control freaks even, or, simply they would try to control also people around them too much. So this is one quality which they really need to kind of try to balance within themselves. One very particular quality about Navami natives is that they really love to win. They hate to lose. They really don't like, to experience the failure. And sometimes it can be enormously stressful for them. They can literally even fall into depression. So what they really also need to learn a little bit in life is to be slightly more detached, and to not take things so personally, and to not, experience, this illusion of winning and failure, because in fact it's illusion, right? Even Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that if you want to have a peaceful mind, you need to treat failure and winning or success alike. Because in reality, the entire world here is the illusion. So it doesn't matter that much whether you win or whether you lose, but what really matters is whether you learn something on your way. And that's also the most profound message from Goddess Kulasundari to all Navami natives. Navami natives are also naturally quite self-centered. And please don't judge them because of that. Don't think it's a bad quality, because it doesn't really need to be. When you're self-centered, it's also okay, because, naturally introverted people, they are also quite self-centered. They are very much, within themselves. They're not even that much interested in the world around them. They're more interested in discovering, their inner universe, quite literally, discovering themselves. And Just one thing, for you to remember, if you are yourself a Navami Titi native, is that sometimes you might go, a little bit out of your comfort zone, and not everything always needs to be done your way. You don't need to always be too self-centered, And especially if you are a Navami native and you are experiencing any health issues, because this is something I have seen a lot with this specific Titi or lunar day, that these people can really kind of focus too much on their worries, too much on problem, too much on their health, and due to the focus itself, they actually increase that instead of healing that. So if you are a Navami native, you might really like to make sure that you find some sort of distance towards this I. Don't focus so much just on what is I and what is mine, but really make this conscious effort to go a little bit out of your comfort zone. Navami natives are also usually very, very unique people. They might have some unique talent or unique goals in life, or they might study even something very unique and special. And actually their individuality is very, very important for them. They just love to be themselves, they love to be respected for who they are, and they love also, to be accepted the way they are without anybody else changing them. So they might be like super peculiar about things, and sometimes about even like really tiny things. So for example, one of Navami natives was Alan Turing, and one really funny thing about him, that he actually used to chain, his own mug to the heater so nobody else is using that except him. So you can see that lots of, like really peculiar qualities may happen with Navami natives sometimes. And again, that's perfectly fine, everybody likes, to have, everybody's weird in some way, let's be honest. But still, if you're a Navami native, please, make conscious effort to go out of your comfort zone, because that's really your biggest life lesson, most likely. Solitude is quite interesting in Navami Titi, I would say. On one hand, these people really need their solitude because, they simply can connect to their own world through that, to themselves, recharge their energy, connect to their emotions. Because please remember, Navami Titi is another Rikta Titi, so-called empty Titi, or emotionally a little bit difficult. But sometimes what is a little bit hard for them in relationships is to simply find, this sort of balance between being in solitude and being with other person, and also accepting the other person or inviting the other person into your own life. And that's really challenging thing with Navami Titi, sorry. And this is why sometimes for Navami natives, especially in the beginning of their life, it might be actually hard to find life partner, because they are not always, ready to sacrifice their own solitude or to sacrifice themselves and go onto some compromise, And this is why sometimes in relationship they might experience, some disappointments, some heartbreaks. Please remember that the ruler of this lunar day, his sun, he's the major separator. And again, if you are maybe right now with some Navami Titi native, please just don't break their heart, because they are like really broken. Like once their heart is broken, it's so hard for them to open up once again and trust other person that it's unbelievable. Like Alan Turing himself, whom I was mentioning just before, when he was with his boyfriend, right, because he was gay in school. Later on, he could not, find himself in the world at all. This is how broken he was. And in fact, he named his machine, the first computer ever, with the name of his first boyfriend who actually died. So one thing, that is very important for Navami Titi natives to learn how to deal with is this separation sometimes, and also to understand that some things simply end in life, and sometimes you just need to move forward, that's all. And one thing that I definitely have to say for you, if you are a Navami Titi native, if you're experiencing any health problem, any health issues, smaller or bigger ones, please look deep within yourself and just analyze yourself. And I know that you're definitely good in that, because Rikta Titi natives are very good in self-analysis. And try to find within yourself whether you not feel separated from something, because what I have really observed, that Navami Titi natives develop health issues very easily, which are coming from, psychological conflict of separation. Because you all know for sure, that no disease can manifest in the body unless it appears in your mind first. So this is something for them really to heal, and it may take them a long time to heal too, but really to work consciously on that and to try to consciously overcome that and to just move forward is very important for them. The divine quality connected with Navami Tithi is Dhana Shila, which literally means generosity. And if Navami Tithi is healthy, these are really very generous people, you know. They are really generous and they are really willing to give. While whenever this Tithi is afflicted, they might actually have a problem with that, and they might just like to just take and take and take for themselves in a relationship. So especially in relationships, you can see that a lot, you know, this quality of generosity or lack of generosity depending on the state of Navami Tithi. So this is also one very important, you know, quality for them, is to learn simply how to overcome this focus just on I, this focus on what I receive in a relationship, but to give more of themselves. Or if you are another extreme and you just simply give too much, you know, to others, you also need to focus sometimes on yourselves. So finding this balance between giving and receiving is a very prominent thing with this Tithi and a very important life lesson. So that was my short analysis of Navami Tithi or 9th lunar day. And if you want to learn more about Navami Tithi or any lunar day, you can purchase my ebook, Journey with the Moon. You can also join me on my Patreon community, where we are having the monthly webinars where we are discovering more about Tithis and all other fascinating topics in Vedic astrology. Or you can also join me on 4 weeks long intense course with Cosmic Insights, just about the Tithis or sacred lunar phases. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Namaste.